for themselves, but also competing with a highly nimble private sector. I always thought of Goa Shipyard as competing as equals. When private shipbuilders today in India, which is definitely a welcome sign, we want many private entrepreneurs, industries, and investments to happen so that there is a healthy opening up. Private and public together should contribute to India's manufacturing sector. Private and public together should give all that is required for a captive Indian armed forces, which is a market for everybody. They are buying and buying and buying, which is required for their operational capabilities, and therefore there is no grudge about buying. But can the buy be serviced by both private and public sector is a very important question, and that is where Prime Minister's inviting everybody to come and make in India has first of all enthused and encouraged Indian investors, Indian manufacturers to also get into private sector manufacturing abilities, which will cater to India's defense forces and their requirements. Now, if that is the environment in which private and public are going to have to compete, I repeat, and this is more as a matter of fact statement, so that a few other things which I'm going to say a bit later will also logically fit into what I want to put forth. So in this environment where both private and public are competing and healthily competing with each other to contribute to a large captive market which exists of the defense forces and the Coast Guard in wanting to buy for their operational readiness, Goa Shipyard has repeatedly proved that they are as good as private sector too. And that's not to say private sector is always good, but public and private competition has proven that a public sector undertaking does not have to be one less. It does not require patronage. It requires to be treated at par with everybody else. And I'm therefore glad that Goa Shipyard has definitely kept its performance levels. And that is one of the reasons I think they naturally earned what our Commodore Goa Shipyard's managing CMD did rightly mention. The ministry did not have a hesitation in awarding the project for construction of the 2 advanced missile frigates, which we thought was appropriate that the Goa Shipyard should get it, and I'm glad things are moving fast, so that from 2020 you will be doing absolutely top-notch job with, of course, with a lot of participation coming from Russia as regards design and certification and so on. So I'm glad that the Goa Shipyard is moving forward. Concerns which rightly the CMD has expressed about a few months of remaining without much of a work as regards hull building and so on will all fall in place and it will be taken care of. I don't think there's cause for worry. You are not going to be forgotten. At the same time, I will now come in with that point which I sort of built up towards wanting to say it. I want not just Goa Shipyard, but also every public sector unit, defense public sector undertakings, to look at themselves as manufacturers of international class, not just depend on your captive market, which is the defense forces or the Navy or the Coast Guard, but look at the world as the market which you can reach out to. There should definitely be an approach of compete globally. You have a market everywhere. Everywhere does, when the Defense Minister of India or the Commerce Minister of India goes out, there is immense interest for buying from India such things as overseas patrol vessels, your speedboats for guarding the borders. Many of the Southeast Asian countries have really requested and shown interest in wanting to purchase from India what otherwise they would have gone for a Western producer. Because today you compete and you've proven yourselves. And that is why I also commend Goa Shipyard for having exported quite a few of ships, some warships too, and it's therefore a matter of pride to put on record that 2 OPVs constructed by Goa Shipyard are already serving the Sri Lankan Navy. 11 fast interceptor boats and 2 fast patrol vessels are serving the Mauritius Coast Guard. And therefore, there is immense possibility for Goa Shipyard not just to look at Government of India, MOD, 3 services, the Coast Guard alone as the only ones who have to buy from you. You have proven your worth. You've shown the quality and the technology and the superiority of your quality of the product that you give out. So today I am here standing before you to say we shall do everything that it takes to ensure that you get your due orders and in time so that the workforce is kept completely busy. We'll do that. But I also want the management, together with the expert workforces, to devise for yourself a plan with which you can very closely work with the Ministry of Defence, Ministry of Commerce, to make sure that you capture those markets which are appreciative of your work. And if they are appreciative of your work, half the bridge is already crossed. It only takes you to negotiate through Government of India, MEA or the Ministry of Defence or Ministry of Commerce to ensure that your products can be accessible even to them. So you have a history of performance in exports. I wish the management now also gets competitive to say that not just the Indian captive market of the 3 armed forces and constantly keep asking MOD to, in a tone that is not becoming of a shipyard of this stature, a shipyard of this quality, a shipyard which repeatedly has proven that it can function much better than some of the private shipyards. You should now be able to have that confidence, that self-confidence to stand up and say, I know there's a market which exists in X country or Y country. Can Government of India now get going with getting us the orders from there? Help us to go and do that. That should be the tone and temperament rather than proving yourself qualitatively, proving yourself competitively in terms of pricing and quality, and after that saying, order books, can the MOD give us something? Oh no, you're capable of producing more, you're capable of doing better, you're capable of standing up and proving yourself. So please, put on that attitude. Put on that attitude. I request the management, put on that attitude to say, we are capable of competing globally, we want those markets, help us to do that. I hope this message reaches the management of the Goa Shipyard. And also, again, with that said, Coast Guard certainly is a very potential buyer. I'll prove that for you. 2014 onwards till today, nearly 64 vessels have been added by the Coast Guard, and as the Chief rightly said, Coast Guard DG rightly said, nearly 75% of it has been given by Goa Shipyard. So what's less? You have a potential buyer, you have your capability, you're supplying repeatedly. When particularly I try to market the defense-related products for countries to buy, the first thing they ask you is your Army, Navy buying it? Is your Army, Navy or Air Force buying your product? If they are buying, then we'll also buy it from you. Otherwise, there's no certification that we get, no proof that it is relevant for an armed forces. That's what they ask us. But if 75% of the world's 3rd, 4th largest Coast Guard is being given only by Goa Shipyard, don't you see that it's overwhelmingly supporting the Indian Armed Forces and the Coast Guard? You're there already. Talk about it. Market yourself, please. It's not to say that government will not give you orders. And it's not, the media is here. I'm super conscious of how this will get distorted. Oh, Raksha Mantri comes to Goa Shipyard to say, go market yourself. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. We will still support you. You are still very qualitatively good. You prove your worth every time. Can I also ask you to look at global markets is what I'm saying, because the Prime Minister's call is not just to make in India for Indian market, but also to export. Prime Minister's call for Make in India is also because He wants to see India, and you are proving it absolutely possible. He wants to see India as a manufacturing hub for defense products. Not just for giving our Indian armed forces, but also to be able to export from here. And I can't see a better shipyard to do that as a pioneer than any other than Goa Shipyard. You should be in the front. So I strongly suggest that there should be a blueprint made from the Goa Shipyard on behalf of Goa Shipyard itself and also of all other shipyards in India, their capacity and so on. Tell us what we have to do from the ministry. Your workers deserve more from you rather than just every now and then coming and pleading with the MOD. They're doing their best. They're contributing their might. They're improving their skills. They're delivering well ahead of schedule. And for that, the credit doesn't have to go to the management. It goes entirely to the workers. With such a wonderful backing, with such a wonderful cooperative environment which prevails in Goa Shipyard, shouldn't you come out now with a plan to say, all right, we'll take care of everything in time for the requirement of Coast Guard, for the requirement of Navy, but we'll work towards moving up our capacities at this, we can sell it so and so. Come with a scheme, I'll be fully with you, and I'm sure we'll be able to achieve together this kind of a, perspective planning, a futuristic vision for the shipyard, particularly the Goa Shipyard, about which I have great regards. And today I'm here with a sense of pride that what you have done for yourselves and for this country, we are strongly in support of. And I'm only coming here to bask in the glory of Goa Shipyard even as I'm launching this. But I certainly put on record my sense of appreciation and draw your attention to the greater potential that exists. And Shanno Varuna. Jai Hind.